we are dealing with two distinct issues that have a wide range of potential outcomes. One is about the variant itself. And I must say, I feel much better after listening to Albert on your show. Thank you for having me on. How infectious, how much resistance to vaccine, et cetera. That has massive economic implications and market implications. But there's a second set of issues, and Phil covered them, is governments are reacting in different ways. We have governments shutting down the border in reaction to this. So the market is going to have to navigate not just the uncertainty with the variant, but also the uncertainty with governments. And governments are all over the place. And that's going to be an issue that we have to navigate through. Now, in the meantime, it will make inflation worse, because inflation is not a demand problem. Inflation is a supply problem. And when you have countries with zero COVID policies, China and other parts of Asia, we can expect ports to shut down again, and that's going to have an impact on the supply chains, unfortunately.
We're so, I mean, the pandemic has been front and center, and I think some of our enemies might at times be using it maybe to further some of their goals, and our eye is kind of off the ball, Mohamed. Is there anything that's coming from either Russia or China that we're not gauging the risk of a bad outcome enough? Because I just see troop buildups, and I see rumblings about this, rumblings about that. We all worry about variants and scariants, but what about the old problems that could rear their ugly head again?
Yeah, I mean, you know, there are geopolitical risks. We've also been losing, although we're catching up on vaccine diplomacy, on mask diplomacy, but we're doing better at that. Look, this is a really difficult time for governments around the world. You're dealing with so many moving pieces that are uncertain and create an enormous amount of dispersion. Look at this. The fact that we haven't vaccinated or made available to Africa vaccines is now coming back to haunt us. So it does matter what our multilateral approaches are like. And this thing is not going to get solved quickly. Look, I am more optimistic. I don't think we get a shutdown. I think we're learning to live with COVID, but we've got to be really agile. And governments are not waiting. They are being very risk averse. If you see how governments have moved in Europe and parts of the Middle East, they're not waiting. They are assuming that they have to take actions now to buy time until we know more about this variant.